Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Grandma's Handbag. My name's Dean. Great to have you with me. Thank you if you're a new subscriber and even if you're not, thank you for stopping by. I hope you can find something you like in this episode. I can tell you I found something I like here. Grandma's little helper this week is a lovely Victorian Shiraz 2012. I'll just let you know how this tastes. Very nice stuff. There's a good long line of licorice in there and some good black dark fruits and that as well. Nice warming stuff because it's winter here in Australia, and we're in a particularly cold batch right at the moment, so it's nice to have a bit of red to warm you up and fire me up also for a great episode. I can't wait to get into this. I don't really know what to call this episode yet. Vinyl finds or vinyl roundup. I'm not sure. I'm gonna work it out. I'll get to you on that. Sorry, I just got to throw this phone away. I think last time it might have interfered with the signal or something like that. Anyway, Grandma's Handbag is back. It's chock-a-block and ready to go. We've got a whole bunch of $2 finds, thrift store, charity store finds, and then at the end a raft of absolute bargain brand new vinyl, as well as a couple that I've been waiting on, ordered and waited on, and that as well. So we'll get into it. First things first, we've got a couple of little ones. Here we go. Called Chisel, doing a cover of Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door, backed with Party's Over, circa 1980, I'm guessing. It looks almost the same artwork as the East cover of theirs, so some Chisel. Next one is David Bowie's Cat People Putting Out Fire from 1982. This is the Giorgio Moroder co-write and produce from the movie of the same name, and it turns up on Bowie's most commercial album, 1983 album, Let's Dance. So yeah, very interesting to find that on a single. Yeah, couldn't leave it behind for that as well. And it actually just got me thinking, I wonder if Bowie reaching out to Moroder in 1982, Giorgio of course is the mastermind behind Donna Summer's I Feel Love, and you know, a big name in Italo disco I suppose, and wider disco in the late 70s and early 80s. So did Bowie, in reaching out to him, deliberately look to go on a more commercial bent? It's an interesting food for thought, because a year later out comes his mega crossover commercial album produced by Nile Rodgers of Chic, which was Let's Dance, and that song turns up on there. So yeah, definitely had to get that as a Bowie fan. It was, you know, I think $2 or $3. Yeah, interesting stuff. And I think this will be interesting stuff as well. Neville Brothers, Yellow Moon, 1989. This one's in very good nick, probably one of the best of the bunch, come to think of it. The other ones are pretty poor, and we'll get to that in a minute. But 1989, it's a Daniel Lanois production, and there's I haven't heard this unfortunately, so I can't say, but there's a few interesting covers on there. We've got God on Our Side and the Ballad of Hollis Brown. So two Dylan songs in there. There's A Change Is Gonna Come, which is a Sam Cooke. And then we've also got the classic Will the Circle Be Unbroken, who I think it's a Carter family, almost a traditional song anyway. So yeah, some very rootsy stuff. And the Lanois production from '89, so he's, you know, possibly even coming straight off Bob Dylan's Oh Mercy. So yeah, there'll be something definitely of interest in there. I'll be delving into that soon. Alright, we got the first of a few seam split albums, and I'll come back to that around for some of your advice in a minute. Bo Hansen, Lord of the Rings, in a weird kind of synchronistic thing. I think Diana from Digging in the Crate, check out her channel. She's doing some fantastic stuff there. Actually canvassed this, saying the other week, she might have pulled this out, just saying it was worthy looking, because the man behind it, Bo Hansen, he was in a pretty big 60s psych group called Hansen and Carlson. So and not long after she says that, here this pops up for a couple of dollars, and it was some money well spent. Very proggy, vaguely psyche, you know, plenty of keyboards and things on here, and yes, Mr. Hansen certainly knows what he is up to on that. Good stuff. Alright, Vanilla Fudge, classic debut album of theirs from '67. This one's always intrigued me because there's so many covers on here. I'm not sure how much was original, but you've got Ticket to Ride, People Get Ready, She's Not There, Bang Bang. So all covers on the first side, and the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby again on the second side. So Vanilla Fudge, just classic fuzzed out 60s rock, plenty of organ in there. I think this is before In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, but there you have it, 60s Australian press. Covers in not too bad shape, but the record's pretty beat. But a couple of dollars again, as are most of the next ones. Our Folklore. Didn't know anything about this, but went on to buy it based on the cover, the fact that also there's a lot of text in German here, and what looks like some sort of commune pictures or things anyway. So German, commune, musical, you've got to pick that up. You got to, you know, I didn't know if I had a lost psych gem on my hands or anything, but in the end, the title gives it away, Folklore. It's pretty much folk songs. The first side is heavily leaning towards Spanish folk songs, and especially the text or the lyrics are based on Federico Lorca poems. And Lorca was a contemporary of Salvador, or good friend of Salvador Dali, I think. So yeah, folk music played on with Spanish guitars, minor other instrumentation, and lead singer's got that sort of pure 60s folk voice of, you know, Joan Baez and that. Very good. Really enjoying this one, actually, quite surprisingly. Side 2, we've got an Israeli, and then an Israeli folk song, traditional, and then the second one saying here it's got melodies from Spanish, Yugoslavian, Greek, Turkish, Israeli, and Yemen. So yeah, very interesting stuff on there. 1973, made in Dusseldorf, and interestingly it's stating down the bottom here that it's pressed by Pallas, P-A-L-L-A-S, whose name now is renowned as, I think, one of the best or better record plants in the world. I know that they certainly did the Beatles mono masters and reissues there a couple of years ago, and I think I've noted their name on some None Such records I've picked up recently too, so there you go. Another folk album, Ian and Sylvia, Four Strong Winds. This one's on the renowned Vanguard folk label. I think this is an Australian pressing as well. Haven't heard this and don't know an awful lot, but I believe there's at the least Greenwich Village connections back to Dylan, and I've heard also Dylan name check them it could have been in regards to covering some of their songs, or one of their songs for the Basement Tapes, the expanded track list the other year. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting at the least. The next, we've got a couple of jazz albums picked up for not a lot. Again, Billie Holiday original recordings. This is a 1972, I think this was around about, pressing. Always good to have a little bit of vocal jazz in here. This one, I'll circle back around to this actually. There's a few here that I bought that have got the old seam split. And I just want to ask any viewers out there, do you guys have any suggestions? Any ways that you deal with seam splits and putting them back together? You know, is there some sort of a glue that I need to be looking out for, or can you get a double-sided tape? Because some of these albums are lovely, and I'd love to get them, you know, back into a good working order rather than hanging around like this. So if anyone's got any suggestions for seam splits and repairing, if you can put them in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. Excellent, thank you. Just give us a second here. Alright, some more vocal jazz. Nina Simone from 71. A whole bunch of covers on the back here as well. This is called Here Comes the Sun. So you got the title track, Just Like a Woman, Mr. Bojangles, Nitty Gritty Dirt Bands on there. My Way, a version of that, and also surprisingly Angel of the Morning. Forgotten Chip Taylor classic, and I think some other people took that to the charts, but it'd be interesting to hear Nina's version of that. Alright, this next one is one I was pretty happy to find, and even though it's in rough condition, this is a great one to pick up. Getson Gilberto featuring Carlos Jobim. Yeah, this looks to be, I think from memory, an original German pressing, and we got some fantastic jazz, Latin influenced jazz here. Nice, smooth, easy listening, but don't let that fool you. It's still very good quality stuff here. I think it's quite an influential album for that as well. The Girl from Ipanema on there. Desafinado, Corcovado. There's a whole range of classic, I think what have become classic tracks on the Verve label as well. So yeah, very nice. Even though the condition's not nice, that beautiful old Verve label's always a welcome one to see when you're flicking through the thrift stores and locating the goodies. Alright, the next one was certainly not a thrift store find, but still a very happy one to have anyway. Bob Dylan's, I think it's his third album, his most overtly protest album, would you say? It's not one of my favourites of his early stuff, but it's still an essential album. Absolutely essential anyway. This is an Aussie original press in mono, so very happy to have that one. And look again, I'll just give you a look at that CBS label there. Yeah, not in incredible condition. I might have paid a little bit over the odds. I think $24 for this one. But having said that, I'm not too fussed. It's a pretty good album, and it's not an audiophile album at the best of times, so a little bit of surface noise and that, fine by me. Okie doke. So next four basically brand new, but they were clearance brand new, and this is ridiculous in terms of the price I paid. I don't know much about three of these four, but for 80 cents a record. These are all sealed, by the way, from the Australian retail store that people love to hate. Yes, talking about JB Hi-Fi. Picked up this 12-inch record store day of the Joy Formidable. Like I said, don't know a lot about this, but there's a cover of Bruce Springsteen's Badlands on the B-side, so can't all be Badlands if the boss is turning up there. Sorry for that joke. That was awful, wasn't it? Okay, this band I do know. Chick Chick Chick. I think this is about their 4th album, Strange Weather, isn't it? No, that's the title. Strange Weather, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't seen this one. Sorry. I gotta collect my thoughts, I think. I haven't heard this one. Truth Serum. Haven't heard this one, but certainly did have, I think, their 2nd album, Louden Up Now, on CD anyway, and was a big fan of theirs around about this sort of time. So I've lost touch with them, but to find this one in, brand new, sealed on the Warp label, happy to have them. If you don't know them, what could you say? It's, I don't want to say punk funk, because that could be a bit too Red Hot Chili Peppers-ish. Dance punk, funk punk. DFA Records, you know, it's, yeah, along that sort of vein. Very upbeat, electronic, but, you know, with some live kick and drums and, you know, percussive guitar and other instruments. So I'm definitely looking forward to spinning that. Back to ones we don't know. Polar Bear Club, Clash, Battle, Guilt, Pride. Haven't heard a thing about this, but 80 cents. You got to give it a shot. By the way, if anyone knows anything about Polar Bear Club or the Joy Formidable or this next one, please let us know. Love to hear if you vouch for them, or if you think they're like I'm just going to tar them with the brush, that there's a reason they're on clearance. Maybe because they're just not as good as they could be. Or maybe, yeah. Anyway, Guards. It looks like a self-titled debut. Limited edition, it says on the front there, but, oh no, sorry. In Guards We Trust. I like a good pun. Yeah. 80 cents, better off in my bag than anyone else's. Had to grab that. Alright, and lastly, one that I've been looking for a little while. Just waiting for the right price. Plenty of copies around. I'm sure I've seen it before on the VC. And that's The War on Drugs, Lost in the Dream. This is 2014. I think they're about to drop a brand new one pretty soon. So, yeah, great album. I don't know, I get strong Springsteen and Dire Straits vibes, obviously via noughties and 2010s indie rock. But yeah, very atmospheric. Songs aren't afraid to stretch out and just feel their way through some things in there. You know, you're getting 6, 7, 8 minute tracks and some sort of keening atmospheric guitars in there as well. But also some really great songs that sort of stick in your mind. So yeah, I resisted The War on Drugs for quite a while. I used to think it was some sort of, without listening to them, some sort of like weird noise death metal band or something, you know. I don't know how I got that, but a friend, Ben. So Ben, if you're out there, thanks again. I know I got to tell you in person to thank you, but he recommended the band quite a while ago, and then a couple of years ago it finally clicked. So here we are now. And got a copy in my hand. and it'll be very interesting to hear what's next for the war on drugs. And in the meantime, I think that's about it for us, but I should say what's next for Grandma's handbag. I'm looking at doing a little show on the little brothers of these magnificent creatures. Yes, I'll do a little, I haven't got a copy here, but I'll do a little roundup on some CDs I'm buying as well. Mostly or almost exclusively secondhand and cheap, but we'll see what else I've picked up that I've actually paid full price for, which is not much for CDs these days. There's not many I do, but anyway, I'll look forward to bringing you that hopefully very soon, and that could be a semi-regular series as well. We'll see what turns up in Grandma's handbag for CDs. But in the meantime, I'm going to sit back with this nice red, play some more Lost Animal, and try and keep warm. So wherever you are in the world, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, try and keep cool. Thank you again for joining in. Thank you for watching. Love to hear your thoughts and comments, especially on the seam splits. And again, thank you so much. Subscribe if you like. Hopefully I can bring some more good stuff for you soon. Really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks a lot.